Spawning top left of Berlingrad. Our first qualifying match in Winners Group A. Between these two players. Top left, red Zerg player playing for Alpha X. This is Ragnarok.
And in the bottom right is, of course, I think one of the few players who has been considered the best Protoss in the world for, I mean, probably the longest out of any of them, though. It is, of course, Quandong Freaks Trap.
That's right. I often forget that the team name is now different.
Yes, they partnered up. I forget exactly the company, but they partnered up, so the team name is just a little bit different. I had a bit of a run-in with that earlier, and so Rushi, you know how I was talking about, like, I was like saying, some of these matches I actually got some insider knowledge on. Can you guess what matchup I actually got that insider knowledge on?
Tell me, was it this one?
Well, so funnily enough, last Friday, I got to cast the Alpha X Super Series. And it just so happened that Ragnarok and Trap were both playing in it.
Okay.
So I got to see a best of 5 between these two players that happened, I think, before this qualifier was played, or a little bit after. And pretty much what happened was that Super Series opened with Ragnarok in this best of 5 going up 2-0 in very convincing games, just completely shutting down Trap, who was trying to go for airplay. Ragnarok hit some just solid timings, applying pressure all over the map, and really kind of splitting Trap apart before Trap came back and reverse swept him. But Ragnarok has actually been showing recently just some really amazing play with being able to hit some just off timings against these Stargate openers that, of course, are still in the meta. You know, the new patch isn't out yet. That is coming, though, which is going to be very exciting, and hopefully will shift things up. But against what is currently, Stargate, Void Ray, maybe an Oracle, second Stargate. That's your safest opening. That's going to Sky Toss. That's what, as a player like Trap, really likes. Ragnarok has shown that he's able to really throw a wrench into that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, just even being able to get out on the map right now, scouting literally, like, just about every just nook and cranny. Like, look at that. Look at that mini-map right now. I mean, it is just, like, covered in Zergling trails. He has looked at every corner. He has looked at just about every single, like, mineral base. He's going to pick up the last one here. So there's no surprising Ragnarok in game number 1 here. There's no slipping up at this point. So the reality is it's going to be just a stereotypical Void Ray opener, Void Ray into Oracle. So pretty stock standard for the Protoss player who wants to defend at home, maybe take away a little bit of vision, but also wants to do a little bit of harassing. It's the build that's got it all.
Yeah, you're going to see that early third base going down. The 2 Adepts, of course, well defended pretty well. You did have Ragnarok already start up that Roach Form, but I do believe did cancel it. So a bit of indecisiveness there from the Alpha X Zerg, not quite knowing what he wants to go for. And of course, the Roach Form, it's your safe option if you want to go for the good old, the classic taxi build, bring roaches and queens across the map. It's good, but a lot of players have actually just been favoring queens and Zerglings. Because honestly, if you just flood Zerglings, that does just a good job about getting into the mineral line. You can use Banelings to blow up the probes as well. Overall, and it hits it just a little bit faster. So overall, that's kind of, especially players like Ragnarok and Raynor have been favoring against these Protoss openers, is just going with the Lings and the Queens, because you're not investing as much gas as well, so just focus on the minerals. And we see that Baneling that's going down, a lot of Lings being flooded, and this is exactly what Ragnarok has been doing against this opener. And even if this wasn't the 2 Stargate opener from Trap, which we do see it is, because of course we can see it all, we have got the God's view. Even if it wasn't this, it's just a very safe opening from Ragnarok. He can apply pressure to this third, regardless of if it's the 2 Stargate opening.
Well, I think, there's a lot of interesting things here. I mean, we've got +1 air attack coming out as well. I mean, Trap is not sensing that this is going to be a queen walk here at the 5-minute mark, but you made some very, very good assertions that that Ragnarok is ready to just end this a little bit early on. He is going to be able to scout this out with the retreating Oracle. So now we start seeing the cannons going down. Shield battery is going to be added into this defense as well. But there's going to be Banelings here, Titan. That's going to be a difficult hold for him with a low unit count.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. This attack, it just hits so fast in the Banelings. Well, who cares about cannons when you just have Explodey Boys? And there we go. The force fields are going to go down. The force fields are actually very, very good so far. As the pylon goes up to block, Ragnarok just has to get the Bailings on out there. Doesn't want to commit them in. Finally finds an opening, and there we go. You see how quickly the cannons just get blown up. Immediately, shield battery overcharge is popped, but the Lings can just flood back in. And this third base, well, it's not going to be mining at the very least. And these Queens are not going down. They still have plenty of energy left. It's just the 3 Void Rays, and the shield batteries are out of energy. And that means that at the very least, this Nexus should go down with this many Queens and Lings still available.
This is some surgical timing here for RAGNAROK, who, if he's able to knock down this third base, this is going to be a big investment that is going to pay off for him. But +1 just now finishing up here for those Void Rays, so they are just a small bit stronger. The Void Rays coming out 2x2. It was a double Stargate opener here for Trap, but Trap has got to find a way to stabilize here. These Queens just will not die. There's still transfuses as well, but the Lings cannot find their way in. These have been immaculate walls created with force fields and pylons, but finally now Lings are going to be able to start wiggling their way in. The sentries are going to become targeted as well. The Void Rays just cannot continue dancing back and forth, but the Queens are turning around. Say it isn't so. The second shield battery overcharge. Titan, I mean, there's a lot happening here.
The Nexus is getting focused, but the shield batteries refocus onto it, and that shields are just going to come back up. Trap is actually managing to hold this. I don't know how. I mean, he bought enough time. The shield battery overcharge comes back up. The last few Queens are going to go down. And as you said, immaculate hold from Trap. I mean, the walling with the shield batteries, with the pylons, and the force fields. 3 sentries alone got so much value. This sentry that's alive, it's got 10 kills. 10 kills, Rushi, and it's a sentry.
This is, I mean, he had one job. There was one job. Oh my gosh, you're gonna end that shield battery. Oh, okay, I guess he wants that mineral field, but like the shield battery that literally did it all, and it's gonna like end its service prematurely here. But like RAGNAROK just had to knock down that Nexus. All of that investment is okay if he takes down a Nexus, but we see a situation here where somehow, some way, the drone count 70 back behind this. Drones were built behind that push. Somehow, some way, RAGNAROK was able to make that into a macro-oriented queen walk, and like I just need to wash my mouth with soap. That sounds so filthy. But fourth base going up here. Trap is not looking like he's in the world's most ideal position, but he's not out either.
Yeah, I mean, the good thing for RAGNAROK is he committed his initial Lings, and he forced a response out of Trap. So, you saw how many buildings Trap had to build. He's using, 1,000 minerals at the very least just to get shield batteries up. He's investing a lot. So behind that, RAGNAROK can drone back up. He actually has the ability to try and get his economy back into a decent position. And I think RAGNAROK safely assessed that either what was going to happen was he kills Trap with what he had there, or Trap holds, and he just needs to pull back and try and regroup. And I think he made the right choice there, and just pulling back, not committing more because he knew that he couldn't really afford to. And now he's suddenly in a pretty decent spot again. 9 Mutalisks on the way. The Spire has been built. You're also getting into Roaches. Sure, Trap is on 3 bases, but is Trap ready for Mutas?
That's a great question. I don't think Trap is going to be. I mean, he's got Archons. There's a couple of Archons. Third one going to be warping in here shortly, so he's not going to be in a bad place to deal with that. But this is going to be one of the first instances where a Protoss player opens up double Stargate, and we're actually like concerned about whether or not they're ready for an air battle against Mutas of all things. Now, the nice thing is this Trap can easily pivot. Those Phoenix will be able to come out 2x2 pretty fast, but that's not going to deal with the Roaches here. RAGNAROK has literally got a little bit of everything here, as Trap is going to bring a little bit of the fight to RAGNAROK's main base here. That 5th base is going to be finished, and Trap thought about sticking around for it, but he decided that's not worth risking all of my units there, but Mutas are going to fly on in. It's chaos all across the map.
Yeah, RAGNAROK just doing such a good job of assessing where he needs to, attack, where he needs to apply pressure. Already managing to just pick off 8 probes. You pull the army back as well, and that's more than worthwhile. Getting the whole army recalled, you now can get up this 5th base. As you said, Trap was ready with the Roaches. He knew this, or RAGNAROK was. He knew this timing, and now he has +1. He has Roaches, he has Mutas, he has Ravagers. He's maxed out at 10 minutes after doing a Queen Walk. RAGNAROK right now, his macro is actually insane off of what felt like a pretty all-in opening, and this is Trap's whole army, and it just not seem like enough.
I mean, this is so hard to like fathom here. It's another Queen Walk. It is Queen Walk 2.0 here in game number 1, and RAGNAROK wants to make this one stick this time around. But a lot of the units up front here, the Roach is trying to absorb at least a little bit of the shockwave damage. Do just get pummeled by those Void Rays and those Archons, and suddenly this army is in a bit of a chokehold here. The Queen's not going to have the positioning that they need to, and suddenly, I mean, RAGNAROK's going to have to back up once again. There's more Roaches on the rebound, but I mean, this army is going to be really good against Roaches right now.
Yeah, I mean, the Archon's got so much value there, and RAGNAROK was just fighting into a choke. His Queens were actually locking out a lot of his units. He didn't have multiple angles available. And so Trap is able to hold on there. Just, I mean, high-value units, Archons, man. They're a good unit. Right now, both those Archons, so, yeah, they're pretty happy with the work that they've got done for Ire. But +2 is going to be on the way. Now, Corruptors are coming out, and I'm not entirely convinced on the Corruptors here. There's still a good amount of Void Rays out. Of course, you can see Corruptors be used for harassment later on, and it's nice to have them if Trap was going for a Fleet Beacon into carries, but that's not the case. Trap has completely pivoted into a ground army. You know, he opened this double Stargate, but now he's got double Robo. He's got charge lots. He's working on his, now, I mean, +2 ground weapons he's got done. He's working on Blink. There's a whole lot for Trap to work with on the ground, and it's a whole lot that really does counter Roaches. You know, it is Archons, it is Disruptors, High Templar, Void Rays. You don't beat that with Roaches.
Well, and realistically, if you can take those Roaches and just transition them into a larger, like, Ravager, Ling, Bane composition army, that would be a different story. But, I mean, the gas is not really in high reserves here for RAGNAROK. He's investing a lot into those high-value gas units, like those Corruptor counts here. And he does get a few workers here on the left-hand side. This main army is going to try and engage on the right-hand side. Really good use of those Disruptor shots onto the incoming larva, so that's going to be a little less reinforcement there for RAGNAROK, but I don't think that's going to be a major issue. He seems to have enough here right now. You know what? Those Corruptors could just dive on in and probably pop that if they wanted to, but not going to waste the whole effort on getting that. That would not be a good return on the investment. But it's just kind of an interesting back and forth right now. Both players just very, very dangerous, but not dangerous enough to just push in and win.
Yeah, I mean, this is really the issue with RAGNAROK trying to go for that killing blow when he was maxed out about 3 minutes ago, is that now he doesn't have a bank that he could have been building up this entire time, and that attack just didn't do a lot. And, you know, he had Trap stuck on 3 bases, and now Trap's taking a 4th. He's trying to split very, very well. The Banelings actually roll on in, get good connections onto the Archons, but this army just trades so well. More Disruptor shots coming on out, and these Corruptors are absolutely useless. There is 28 supply worth of Corruptors, and they can do nothing to fight the ground army that Trap has brought.
If only they could force Stalker fire here. I mean, this is a nice little getch, but I mean, that's a very, very small amount of units pulled away here. There's 20 drones that have gone down. This base is going to inevitably fall. Roaches continue to be on the production tab here for RAGNAROK, so he believes in the power of the Roach, but with this many Disruptors, I mean, 8 Disruptors is just going to be too difficult to try and play into, especially with Stalker coverage. Those Disruptor shots are going to be too strong, and Trap is going to take game number 1 here and wrestle himself a lead against a very chaotic opponent in game number 1.
So, here's my question for you, Rushi.
Yeah, hit me.
We obviously see RAGNAROK do the Queen Walk in game 1. It actually works decently well, gets into a good position. He then completely throws it away with the follow-up push. But that aside, does Trap once again go for a double Stargate opening? Do we just kind of see a repeat? And does Trap just 2-0 this, or does RAGNAROK win it this time?
You know, I don't know what necessarily to expect at this point. I do have the context clue of the forced move out to the 3rd base location as an indicator that Trap might go for more early ground. I think Protoss players are incentivized into punishing Zerg players that get pushed out to their 3rd base by going for something like Resonating Glaives, even if it's not like the early version, just going into heavy adept pressure early on, just to punish the Zerg player from not being able to have as much creep spread as they would otherwise normally be able to. But you know, it's one of those situations where Trap got away with it game number 1. could Trap get away with it again? I think so. Like, of any Protoss player I can think of, Trap would be high on that list. But, I mean, looking at the way things are set up right now, it's a very early Nexus. I mean, Nexus is finishing up right at the same time that Warp Gate is going in. I wouldn't be surprised to see that Stargate go up once again and play things out in a similar fashion as they did game number 1. Sometimes if it isn't broken, you just don't try to fix it.
Yeah, absolutely is. We'll see. Of course, this does mean that we should be seeing that Void Ray first. Adepts are on the way for Trap. The real question is, does he go for that 350 Nexus, which is the very fast one? You already see a probe there, just pocketed by the Gateway and the Cybercore. So I think Trap is just planning to kind of repeat here on his build. Second Gateway will go down, just for defensive capabilities. But I don't think we're really going to see much different. Trap is one of those players that when you look at Trap, you say that if there was ever a peanut butter and jelly sandwich of Protoss, that would be Trap. It works. If you know, it always comes through when you need it. It's solid, never fails you. That's Trap in his builds. He just constantly is very, very consistent, does the same things. His macro, of course, is very, very good. He's not like, a Zest, where a Zest might be, ooh, I have peanut butter, and then I'm also going to put cream cheese on it, just to see what it's like. And it's a bit crazy. Sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes it's just disgusting. But sometimes it's really good.
I think the peanut butter and pickles is the one that would fit the description of, like, it shouldn't work, but why is this kind of tasty? And I will accept no feedback on that whatsoever. So thank you very much for your kind attention to that. But I like your analogy. I think it's okay to think of it that way and see if we can maybe not only create the new flavor, but savor something new. But it seems like, you know what, Trap's the comfortable, like, you know what, I know I like this. It tastes good. It's gonna serve me what I need. We're getting +1 air. We're getting that second Stargate. The Forge comes down as well, so I think he's anticipating that Queen Walk once again. But this time around, it's gonna be Lair. So I don't think this is going to be as dedicated a pressure. There are 6 queens down the map, don't get me wrong. So I think the potential is there for RAGNAROK to strike, but I mean, we're looking at the 5-minute mark, and really the unit count is not the same here. It's more worker-oriented. He's got 19 army supply, and I think we're going to be buckled in for a little bit longer form game this time around.
Yeah, I mean, those extra gas going down, I mean, either what we're going to be looking at is like a 6:30 roach timing here, or this is about to be potentially some Mutalisks. I would love to see some Spire play out from RAGNAROK. That's always one of, I think, my favorite ways to deal. Oh, no. Oh, that hurts.
That beautiful stasis trap grabbing a majority of that mineral line, only leaving 3 left. That could maybe be a tipping point here for RAGNAROK. He is just going to drone back behind it, so this is not going to be anything that really tips the scale for him just yet. He's just kind of walking the same path, getting his Glue Reconstitution, +1 missile. But Trap's got to be feeling really good that he's locked up about 30% of RAGNAROK's mining supply right now.
Yeah, I mean, it will get back to it, but of course that does just hurt, because as the Zerg right now, you're trying to snowball your economy as much as you can. I mean, RAGNAROK went up to a very, very early 70 workers, was just trying to get on up to that 4th base. The fleet beacon has been popped down, so it's not going to be the +1 ground weapons. It's not going to be charged. We're not looking to play on the ground here. No, Trap, he wants to take things further into sky. That's even another Stargate. Yeah, this is going to be very much very fast carriers coming out from Trap.
But there's a robotics bay as well. This is chaotic. This is like all kinds of chaotic here. And I think Trap is trying to like indicate that something weird's happening here. He's immediately diving in with Voids to pick off gas mining. He's going to grab some more drones here. I mean, this has got to force like a very visceral reaction from RAGNAROK. The amount of chaos that's happening here all at once has got to be sending him a message here. But like I guess we got a third Stargate here, so we're going to have 3 carriers at a time. The Spire's gone down. Yeah, I think RAGNAROK knows that something's up, and the time's kind of ticking for him here in Game 2.
Yes, I mean, Trap, he's kind of completely had his way in this game. It's not like Game 1 where RAGNAROK's trying to force the issue. He's trying to disrupt the Protoss. He's really sitting back, and he's just saying, hey, Trap, you know what? Do what you want. I'm going to face you where you feel comfortable, and I don't think that's something that a lot of Zerg players would be comfortable doing, as the Oracle does go down, so that's a nice snipe. That's kind of most of the scouting ability of Trap now gone, as the 4th base is going up. A Ling Flood is going to try and cancel that, though, and I don't think there's really much on the ground to stop. A shield battery overcharged. Cannon, though, well, there's nothing really scarier to a Zergling than that.
Yeah, 30 Zerglings don't have anything on a big spinny shiny boy right there. So that one cannon had enough power, had all the power of Ire and about 3 other planets as well. But look at this is just like, I think we have to admire Trap's position here in game number 2 right now. Like he is literally going for the kitchen sink of Protoss builds right now. He's got 3 carriers. He's stopped his carrier production. He's putting out Void Rays again. He's getting disruptors, which this is actually kind of cute. The scout comes in and actually contaminates the robotics facility, so that's going to slow down the disruptor production. But like that just creates more potent opportunities for Trap elsewhere. This is such a kitchen sink build from Trap that I don't know if I love it. Like I haven't quite decided. Like we know that all voids super powerful, all carriers super powerful, all disruptors super powerful, but a little bit of everything, I don't know. We're gonna have to see.
Yeah, I mean, the nice thing is you will have the counter to these corruptors. All the Void Rays will do very, very nicely in handling them, and Ragnarok doesn't quite have his +1 for it, but we're gonna see the caustic spray now go down, and well, if there's one thing about Corruptors, is that their air-to-ground damage ramps up quite quickly. We'll just snipe the pylon. Now look for a dive onto one of the Void Rays. Gets it, has to get on out. Not to lose a Corruptor. So far, it's a pretty decent start here for Ragnarok. These Corruptors, what you're really looking for is just to snipe down buildings, snipe down units especially. If you can get a carrier here, that's so much value. And there we go, a carrier out of position. Ragnarok dives on in, snipes it. Now looking for the Void Rays as well. Prismatic Alignment is turned on, so you gotta run away. There's just 3 or 4 there on the way on out, but that's already, I mean, such a great start for Ragnarok, who's, you know, he's got roaches behind him, he's got queens, and so when it comes down to it, he can flood units over once he's felt like he's done enough damage to Trap's army.
Oh, these Lings are going to be able to come in and cause a little bit more chaos as well, because in high numbers, they're going to be able to trade very well against a small amount of Stalkers and Disruptors, but now the Corruptors are the focus here in the sky. Once all those Void Rays go down, this becomes a concerning situation here for Trap. Ragnarok is just absolutely skyrocketed in supply, 186 to 133. The Void Ray count is gone. Titan, there's nothing in the air right now to stop these Corruptors from puking on every building Trap has.
It's like a very, very sick 5th grader right now. There's nothing you can do to stop it. As, I mean, Ragnarok, yeah, he just finds the timing. He just says, hey, listen, I'm going to bank up 2K minerals, build a bunch of Corruptors, and I don't think you have enough. And he's absolutely right. Trap is 3 Stargates. Trap gets caught out of position once. Ragnarok dives on in. Even if Ragnarok loses all of his Corruptors, or even like a majority of them, it's fine. He got the carriers. He got the Void Rays. Now suddenly he can go back into his ground army, and behind this, Ragnarok's on 4 bases. You know, he has the rich Vice-Beam Geyser at the bottom right side of this map, and he can continue to just move around with these Corruptors and be annoying. He can find snipes onto these carriers or these Void Rays. He just has so many Corruptors at his disposal, and this +2 air weapons for Trap, well, that was planned to be with, you know, 3 carriers, 7 Void Rays. No, 3 Void Rays are going to have the benefit of this upgrade.
Yeah, it's been a lot of very oppressive coverage here by Ragnarok, and Trap has wanted to try and get up to that critical mass of units to be able to push across the map, but he's kind of struggled to be able to do so. It feels like every time he gets set in a position to try and move forward, things just get more overwhelming, and that's going to be a Cyber Core that's gone down, so that's going to be a small period of time where it's only Zealots on the production tab, and those are going to get picked off on the return. This is a chaotic moment here for Trap, who is desperately trying to just stabilize into this push, but there's Ultralists on the backside of this. What are we even looking at here, Titan?
I mean, this is Ragnarok really, I think, mixing up. And the Ultras are something where, and this is something where you see Cyril do this, where when it comes to late game, when you're playing against Air Toss, you actually mix in Ultralists, because Ultras are very good against Stalkers. They're very good at tanking damage and then getting on top of units like the High Templars, and so they're really useful to zone out the Protoss ground army while your Corruptors and Vipers can kind of reign free in the sky. And as you see, there's a lot of ground units here for Trap. It's Charge Lots, it's Stalkers. And if you just throw a few Ultras in here, sure, of course, the Disruptors will get through them, but once those Disruptor shots are out, if you get on top of those units, your Ultras will absolutely chew through them. And meanwhile, Ragnarok's still just going to try and be hunting for some of these air units. He's got the Vipers now added on, and he's sniffing them out. He's like a dog that smells blood.
Oh, yeah. An Archon running interference is something that he's got to pay attention to. He can't afford to just lose a lot of air units for free to an Archon that just shoots up all the time. And it feels like Trap is trying to bring the pain to the opposite side of the map. Some good Baneling connections here onto the first wave of Zealots. One Disruptor shot going to try and clean up more of these Banelings. Ooh, the second one does manage to connect, but now all of those Zealots are out of the equation here. Lings are going to come in from the backside, and suddenly this is not a good fight for Trap. He's on the retreat. Only one Archon to try and deal with all of these Lings and these two Ultras, and now this army is very, very out of position, but still manages to find at least a little bit of positioning to try and get it back in it.
Yeah, I mean, as you see, as soon as those Disruptor shots are all used, there's just this army from Trap doesn't do well. The Ultras, the Lings, they all get on top of these units. Of course, on the retreat, Trap, with these Warpins, is able to fight this a lot better. But Ragnarok's just taking over other places on the map. He's looking for picks on the Void Rays. They're all very low because of a Parasitic Bomb that was landed earlier. But these Stalkers going to try and look for a backstab here. Look for the Vipers that are going to be able to get at least, I think, both. No, one of them does escape. Has to retreat before the Lings show up. But now your Blink's on cooldown. Well, the Lings can kind of do whatever they want. They do not have the Adrenal Glands just yet, but even without that, still able to fight quite well. The Void Rays here just fighting some Queens. The Corruptors come over, and you have to get on out. And this is just how Trap's army has to play. You can't fight straight up, because if you do, you're just going to lose.
This is, yeah, it's a matter of critical mass here for Trap, and Trap has just not been able to find the critical mass on either one of these armies just yet, and he's not going to benefit from bulking that army up and fighting together. Ragnarok has done a very good job of keeping his army very fluid and very diverse, having a decent amount of Corruptors in the air and having a great amount of units on the ground. Speaking of great amount, so many Banelings rolling on in to this fourth base location. They are not going to connect. They're going to try and get on top of the Stalkers instead.
Oh, I love this move from Ragnarok. He says, listen, I can just go for another base. I know my Lings are going to clear this one out, and he should be able to find a good amount of damage. Already 30 probes or so going down. The fourth base is going to be completely ravaged. And Ragnarok just finds an opening, and he's also diving on top of the Void Rays in the main. That's carriers that are popping out that are going to get sniped. Trap felt like, hey, I can go back into carriers, right? I have enough. No, you don't. Because Ragnarok, just the 1-2 punch, knows exactly how to handle this. And I mean, Trap, he has to make something work now. You're on 3 bases. You have to go all in at this point, but there's not a lot to work with. He's going to try and work down this fourth base, but the Lings are going to come in. They're going to slow down this push. The Immortals are going to get picked off from the Lings. The Corruptors dive on in, and now the Queens are fighting straight up. More Lings in production, and it just feels like Ragnarok has handled this game so perfectly.
Yeah, this has been a great game for the Zerg player, picking off both of the remaining carriers here. The carrier count was reset. Ragnarok resets the series to a best of 1. He equalizes this 1-1 in this best of 3. And we go to the rubber match. Blue Protoss player for... I actually probably shouldn't introduce him because I don't remember how to say their name. So, Titan, take it away.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, getting it tied up against him. He was given all of the freedom in the world, and he still didn't manage to make it work. From Quamdom Freaks, ladies and gentlemen, it is Trap.
Okay, and his opponent in the top right. The red Zerg player is being pushed off to his third base again. For Alpha X, this is Ragnarok. Oh, you're gonna make a liar out of me. You are gonna make a liar out of me. You're gonna make a okay. Well, you know, it's fine. Like it's all fine. I'm only like you can't see my tears. You can maybe feel them, but you cannot see them. It's not allowed. That's actually beautiful.
Yeah. Ragnarok is just going to be so happy already at the start of this game. Says, hey, listen, my natural base goes up where it's supposed to on Hardwire? Ah, he's living the life right now. And I think what Ragnarok did do is he actually hid his drone after moving out to take that, you know, his second base at his third. He hid the drone. Trap goes to scout down, sees, oh, you haven't placed it there. Scouts up, and that's when Ragnarok goes back, takes his natural. It just actually works out very, very nicely. He doesn't even delay it that much because his drone went down early. And yeah, this is already a good start off here for the Zerg. You're really gonna you just kind of you sit on this for a while. You gloat about this next time you meet Trap.
Yeah, this is the kind of stuff like we encountered with the King of Battles a little bit, where there was a little bit of banter back and forth between the players, and we were very fortunate. One of our interpreters was able to sit in the game and live interpret as it was happening. Classic King of Battles moment. But this is the kind of stuff that gets brought up. Hey, remember when you blocked my natural, but then you didn't? It was amazing. And then you just see all of the characters for like LOL. And, oh, well, this one's gonna be quick revenge. So
yeah,
I think if we don't like, if we're not careful, we're just gonna get ahead of ourselves, and we're just gonna constantly let the players prove us wrong. There's a Stargate though.
Yeah, well, that hasn't changed. We still got that.
I'm just gonna zoom in and wait for it to cancel. Just one moment, please. I'm not gonna look at anything else in this game.
Trap is actually even going to bring over the Adept. Will not be able to slow down the hatchery anymore, but that was a bit of a sweet revenge for him, managing to at least delay that a little bit. Was not very happy that the natural went up where it was supposed to, and of course, you know, that doesn't end up making a lot of sense. Wow, that is a very aggressive Adept, and that should be just a kill on the first Adept, which you don't see very often. And that's, you know, this start for Trap, it's not game-endingly bad. I'm not going to be like, oh my god, Trap, this start's so bad, but like, this is already not the best for Trap. You're losing a lot of scouting information, and Ragnarok is just kind of sitting pretty.
Well, and it's actually kind of an interesting opener, too, here. So game number 3, instead of opting for the Void Ray up front, now it is an Oracle opening. So a little bit more aggressive, but I think that's a tell to me, at least, that, oh, okay. I was going to say, maybe he's just going to choose to go into ground a little bit quicker. Sometimes those Oracle openings can be useful for creating some good scouting potential, a lot of nice harassment. Even still, Trap taking a ton of damage on his first Oracle for 1 kill. That's not worth it. But the Twilight Council's going down here, so maybe we're not going to see as invested of an air push here from Trap in game 3.
Yeah, but I mean, look at this. You already get the kill onto the probe. Ragnarok even hides 2 Lings to catch the Adept Warp in, or the Adept Shade, and that is just... Ragnarok in this game 3 is just getting value everywhere. That's 2 Adepts already killed. The third has been delayed here from Trap. And of course, Trap behind this is just going into his own build. You're going to see the Twilight Council. Will it be Glaives? Yes, it is going to be Glaives. Those 2 additional gateways, meaning that, hey, Trap wants to get a bit aggressive here. He's going to put down the third base still, but this is going to be harassment. This isn't going to be all in. It's not 2 base Glaives. It's no Zest build. But this is going to be Adepts used to try and be very, very annoying in about, you know, a minute or so.
Well, I think if Trap has his way, he's going to try and be more than just annoying for sure. He is making an investment to try and turn this into a cheeky little timing, but he's doubling down behind it in a different direction, picking up +1 air weapons. He hasn't built the second Stargate just yet, so I think that's just going to be saved for a possibility down the road. He does have 1 Void Ray that will benefit from that, which is funny to say the least. There goes the second Stargate. So yeah, it's a lot of very calculated timings here to try and take advantage of an opponent that may not have complete scouting information and is trying to blind counter into different holds here. But the reality of the issue here is that Zergling is going. I think he just got enough of a glimpse of the Adept there, but the Ling count is high enough. The Queens are going to be in position here. The creep spread's actually relatively secure right now. So now it just comes down to Ragnarok trying to be in the right place at the right time.
Oh, and I mean, already you're going to see these shades walled off a little bit, and Trap completes it, the cancel on the building, and that means that Ragnarok gets a full surround with the Lings. And sure, these Adepts absolutely chew through them, but so many of them are low health, so many of them are going to go down. And Trap, he was looking for pressure, he was looking to try and get some harassment done, but instead loses absolutely everything. 4 Adepts going to go into the third. 2 drones going down so far, but now Banelings are here, and that's about it. 2 drones for how many Adepts?
Ooh. Yeah, this was a 16 Adept investment. Maybe give or take. Ooh, nice little stasis trap. Not going to grab all the Lings though. Maybe give or take 1 or 2 on any defensive that were lost early on, but still double-digit Adepts for only single-digit drones of any amount. not enough for Trap, and he's going to have to try and get creative. And a fleet beacon's already going to go down. It's just wildly whipping back and forth here for Trap, as he is always trying to stay 2 steps ahead of his opponent.
Yeah, and I mean, of course, the Adept investment not worth it. Trap's going to go again, though he's bringing more Adepts across the map, and this is the point where, hey, listen, you already lost your first few Adepts. It's fine, though. You're not committing super heavily to it. You have a 3rd base. It's not the best, but you can still transition out. If you commit these Adepts and lose them, that's a whole another issue, as RAGNAROK still has units ready. He has Hydras now out. These Adepts don't complete that shade, and smartly, Trap is just going to back on out. Has the fleet beacon done, is going to start to get into carriers, but RAGNAROK right now, all 70 workers, going up to 4 bases, and I think right now RAGNAROK, the angle that he's looking for is going to be a Hydra bust.
Yeah, this is kind of an interesting choice. It's a bit of an alternative to just going for Roach, Ling, Bane. It's not going to be quite as sturdy, but if there isn't anything to really tackle the Hydras in medium to high quantities, that's going to be a problem that Trap's going to have a difficult time dealing with here. Now, the carriers coming out will be capable of doing that, but they're not going to be focused on trying to get rid of the Hydras. I mean, they're going to be responsible for trying to just stop everything and really shift focus on the other side of the map. So having to use them defensively is not going to be what Trap is hoping for. But look at this. It's going to be a deviation once again. Additional carriers on the way, 4 and 5 in production. Number 6 gets placed down as well. Lings are going to get caught in a stasis trap once again. And I think we're going to start seeing RAGNAROK move out here.
Yeah, I mean, it's just continued Hydras in the production tab. He's not going above 72 workers, and well, I mean, right now you're just going straight into carriers, and carriers are a good option. Of course, you can mess with the AI of the Hydras. If RAGNAROK is not able to get into a position where he can just, one-shot down these carriers, he's going to have to deal with the interceptors. But with so many Hydras, those interceptors are absolutely plucked out of the sky so quickly, with +1 as well. As here we go. Oh, the carriers. Trap is just going to back on out, but you're looking at RAGNAROK approaching 175 supply, and you might just have to give up this 4th base. There are cannons already up, though, but fighting between the bases is absolutely not what you want to do. Already all of the interceptors just go down.
This is a very tricky situation here for both players. Trap really needs the reinforcements of his shield batteries and his base to try and make this a more even fight. But Baneling's getting caught on the right-hand side here is a good start here for Trap. He does want to zone those out and avoid those from crashing in to valuable targets, and that's where the carriers can put their focus, but they have to stay focused on those Hydras, but not if all of those interceptors get picked up. But he does finally bait those Banelings all the way forward, so it's about as good of an investment as he possibly could get on the Baneling side, but that means it's going to cost him the 4th base.
RAGNAROK going to be able to find the 4th. Dep's not able to shade on in, and Storm isn't even done. You don't really have any AoE options for these Hydras, and that's really the real worry is the Banelings. They're just going to roll on forward. The Adepts have to back on up, but the Banelings still might find the connections. No, they're going to go for the mineral line trap. Doesn't pull the probes away. He's going to find another. Oh, it could have been a bigger hit, but still 13 probes go down. Trap supply is dropping. The Hydras now trying to push this, and as I said, the interceptors just go down so fast with this many Hydras. And once they're all gone, what is there for Trap? There's not enough, as GG. RAGNAROK is going to take game 3.